This is an easy to make baby blanket with a cute little border. Very simple, good for beginners. You can see the trim here. A nice giant granny square. Hi everyone, we are going to make a baby afghan today, and I'm excited about this one. I love making baby crochet clothes and afghans. This particular yarn is one big ball of yarn, which is called Loops and Threads. You don't have to use this particular brand, but this one is 947 yards. It should be enough to make one small afghan. This is a weight size 3. They are recommending a crochet hook size G or size 6 for 4 millimeters. I'm using a size J, and I don't think this is going to zoom in good, but it's a size J, 6 millimeter. That's what I'm using for this project. And you'll need a pair of scissors, which I have right here, and you will need a blunt needle, preferably with a large eye. The blunt needle, you don't poke yourself. It's nice and rounded, and a large enough eye that your thread will fit through. And let's get started on this baby afghan. Alright, first we need to make our slip knot, and I'm going to go a little bit more slowly so that if there's any beginners watching this, because this really is, I believe, a good beginner's project. So with the slip knot, I just wrap it around my finger, come around the back side, grab the yarn, flip it over, grab that piece of yarn, just let my finger slip through, and there's your slip knot that I just dropped. Come back. And there it is. And then you just put your crochet hook right inside there and just pull both ends so you've got it nice and snug on your hook. There we go. Finally. Boy, that's the hardest part. Okay, so I've got my tail hanging on the right side, and first we are going to chain 6. And so to chain, you take your crochet hook and you just wrap the yarn around it, bring it through, and you have your first chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we are going to make a circle, and the very first chain, we're just going to put our crochet hook right into the center of that chain, grab the yarn, pull it through that chain, and then pull it through the loop on the hook. Alright, and that was a slip stitch. So now we've made our circle. We've got a chain of 6, and now we have our circle. Now we're going to work inside the circle. And the first thing we're going to do is chain 3. So right now we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is going to act as a double crochet, and you'll see what I mean once we get going. Now I'm going to do a double crochet. I wrap the yarn around my hook, go into the center of the circle, pick up the yarn again, bring it back through the circle, pick up the yarn again, go through 2 loops on the hook, pick up the yarn again, and go through 2 loops on the hook. We're going to do this one more time, and this tail likes to get in the way when you first start, so you just have to move it around until you get going and your project starts to get a little bit bigger, and then it won't be in the way. All right, let's do another double crochet. Pick up the yarn, go through the center, pick up the yarn, come back through the center, pick up the yarn, go through 2 loops, somehow, somewhere, and go through 2. All right, now we have our first set of 3 double crochets. Even though this first one is a chain, it's acting as a double crochet. Now we are going to chain 3. This project is going to have corners, and the corners will always be a chain 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. And this is our corner. Now we are going to do 3 more double crochets. Here's 1 into the circle. And here's 2. And 1 more makes 3. Okay, so this is our first corner down here where we did the chain 3. We're going to do another corner. And if you're a beginner, this will get easier as you go along. 1, 2, 3. All right, 3 more double crochets into the circle. This is 1. And this is 2. And this is 3. We are almost done with our first round. Okay. Now we're going to chain 3 again because this is another corner. 3 more double crochet. Now as you see, as we're coming around, this is the first set of double crochets is pretty close to this third one, but we have to make 3 more double crochets. So if you want to, you can just kind of push this over so that you can see your circle a little bit better. And let's do 3 more double crochets. This is 1. And this is 2. And 1 more. Okay, now we have to do a chain 3 for our corner. 1, 2, and 3. And now we need to connect it to the first chain 3 that we did, which is acting as our first set of 3 double crochet. So you just count 1, 2, 3, and you put your hook into the top of that third chain. I like to grab 2 pieces of the yarn to make it a little bit sturdier. If you just grab one, that's okay. Pull it through the first loop and the second loop, and now you've connected it. Okay, so now we have our first round, and I promise you it's going to start looking better once we get to our next few rounds. Okay, now we're going to do round 2. We've connected our first round. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and now we're going to chain 1 more. We're going into our first corner and we're going to do 3 double crochets. Here's the first one. 1, and 2, and 3. All right, so this is going to be another corner. This funky looking chain 3 right here, you'll see when we come back, that's going to be part of our triple crochet. So now that we're making a new corner up here in our second round, we're going to chain 3, because all of our corners are chain 3. Go back into the same corner and do 3 double crochets. Here's 1, and here's 2, and here is 3. Okay. And now that we have now that we have finished this corner, and we're going to do the next corner, we're going to chain 1 first. And now we are going into the next corner and we're going to do 3 double crochet. Then we're going to do a chain 3 and 3 more double crochet. So here's 1 double crochet, here's 2 double crochets, and here's 3 double crochets. And let's chain 3, because this is another corner that we're making. And let's do 3 double crochets. That's 1, and that's 2, and 3. Getting there. All right. Here's a corner of our second row. There's our second corner in our second row. We're going to do the next corner, but first we have to go across this triple crochet before we go to the next corner, and so we chain 1 in between. And now we do another triple crochet. Here's 1, and here's 2, and 3 coming up. Here's 3, and now we are making another corner, so we chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 3 more double crochets. 1, and 2, and 3. All right, looking good. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we've got to come into this next corner over here. So we're going to chain 1 first before we go to it. And now we will do our 3 double crochets. 1, and 2, and 3, and we're making another corner, so we chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. All right, and after our chain 3, this time we're going to do 2 double crochets, not 3, because this right here is going to count as our 3rd double crochet. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. Here's 1 double crochet, and here's 2 double crochets, and now we are going to take this one, count 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, put our hook through there. We're going to do a slip stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull it through the yarn on the hook, and now we've connected it together. Okay, so now you see that we have our 4 corners in our second round, and we connected this last corner together right here. So that's round 1 right here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of triple crochet, and then our next round, our second round, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups of triple crochet. All right, round 3 is next. All right, let's start round 3. Now, here we are. We've connected our round 2. Now, right here, we are going to chain 3. This is a corner, and here's a corner. Right here, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to count this as a double crochet. We're going to do 2 more in this section right here. This is not a corner. Here's a corner, here's a corner, and this is a middle section. So now we're going to do 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. And now we're going to chain 1 before we move on to the corner. And now we're going to do 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and 3 double crochets. Here's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3, and since we are in a corner, we're going to make another corner by chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 3 more double crochets right there. Here's 1, and here's 2, and here's 3. Okay, if you want to stop and take a look at round 3. That's where we did our chain 3, 2 double crochets on the side, did a chain 1, and then we did our corner, 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets. We're back to a side piece. So we are going to chain 1, go into this next hole, which is not a corner, and we are just going to do 3 double crochets. So basically, on your side pieces, you have 3 double crochets, and then on the corners, you have 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and 3 double crochets. So as it gets bigger and bigger, you're going to have more side pieces to work into. Okay? Now we're going to always chain 1 in between. And now we're going to do another corner. We're going to start off with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and you know, it's always fun working with multicolored yarn because you don't have to change colors if you don't want to. And now we chain 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 more double crochet on this corner. 1. My yarn is getting tangled. There we go. 2 more double crochet in this corner. Here's 1. And here is 2. Making it a total of 3 now. Got myself another corner. Now we got a side piece again. We're going to chain 1. And we're going to do 3 double crochet right here. Here's 1. Here's 2. And here's 3. Back to the corner, chain 1, do my 3 double crochet, 1, see if I can go a little faster here for you, 2, which I would do if my yarn was not getting tangled, so let me untangle this a little bit more. Yarn usually doesn't do this when you're pulling it out of the end of the yarn here, the yarn ball. A lot of them, and it comes out nice and smooth, but sometimes you have to deal with tangles. That's part of crocheting, part of knitting, part of life. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. That's an old saying. Okay. 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. All right, how's it looking? Let's take a look. Ooh, getting bigger and bigger here. Okay, we've got another side piece. Got to chain 1, move along. On the side hole right here, we do 3 double crochet. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, back to the corner, chain 1, 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Untangle your yarn as best you can so that you don't have to cut it. We're in a corner, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 more double crochet. This is 1, 2, and 3. All right, we're done with round 3. As soon as we tie it together here, we're going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain at the top. 1, 2, 3. I like to go under 2 yarns. See the top of this. Let me get a close-up here. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to try to go through both of those pieces of yarn there just to make it sturdier. You can do one if you have difficulty doing this, but I think it makes it sturdier if you can go through two. Okay, and just a slip stitch, grab your yarn, bring it through, and then bring it through the yarn that's on your hook. Now you've connected it. All right, and when you have to get up and go do something else, just pull your yarn out, and this is going to be the last double crochet. When we come all the way around and come back up to here, this will be the third one of the double crochet prior to this. Okay, so now we're going to do our 3 double crochets. First we need to chain one more because we're going from one spot to the next, and you have to chain one in between. Now we're going to do our 3 double crochet. This is 1. Oops, back up here. There we go. Get closer. Okay, here is 1. And 2. And 3. Okay, now we're going to chain 1 before we move on to the next space, which is our corner. Going to do 3 double crochet, 3 chains, and 3 double crochet in our corner. And here's my 3 double crochet. That's the first one, second one, and third. Chain 3. So you see that this is all hopefully beginning to make sense. And you just keep going and going until you get the project as big as you want or as small as you want. You can use this whole ball of yarn, or if you think it's too much, you can stop, or if you want it bigger, you can buy some more of the yarn, grab another ball, buy another ball of yarn, and continue to make it even larger. There's also probably some pretty little edging you could put, like a scalloped finish, and I may do that just to show you what it looks like when I finish here, but we're going to wait and see what it looks like when we do get done. All right, so I did my corner. I'm going to chain 1 before I move on. I'm back to a side. Now, if you'll notice, we have 2 side holes now between the corners. So as you go along, you're going to have more and more side holes. And so you just keep doing the same pattern. I chained 1, I'm going to do 3 double crochet. That's 1, 2, and 3. And chain 1 before I move on to the next spot. Here's 1 and 2 and 3 chain 1 to move on to the corner. Tangle some of this yarn. Going on to the corner now. Okay, I went ahead and came all the way around on row 4, and I'm going to do my last 2 double crochet into this hole right here. But first I need to chain 1, and now I'm going to do 2 double crochet. This is 2. And this is going to be considered my 3rd double crochet for this hole, and what I have to do is I have to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to put my hook under 2 strands, pull up my yarn, go through, and go through the yarn on the hook. Now I've connected. So we did round 4 or row 4, and you can count from the center at a diagonal. Here's my center, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4 sets. That's my 4th row, or my 4th round. So now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to do 2 double crochet into this side hold here. 1, well, this is 2 more, and the second one to make a total of 3. And as we come around, we will connect again. So each row is just slightly different when you connect. If you notice on the last row when we connected right here and we did a chain 3, and then on the next row you'll see that the chain 3 will end up in this column. So each time you just have to adjust, and you can go back and look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this round and come back. Okay, I finished up the 5th row, and what I was saying before was that when we came, this is our chain 3 from the previous row, and what we did was 2 more double crochets, and then we did a chain 3 up here. Well, now we are going to connect on the 3rd chain here to connect the 5th row together. And again, I like to get 2 strands on there. It's just what I prefer to do. Sometimes it's difficult to do. And if you're doing a crochet project, maybe with a tighter weight yarn or a smaller yarn and a smaller hook, it might be just fine to go through 1 strand. Okay, so now we've connected that, and now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and in this case, this is not where we're going to do 2 double crochets into this hole, but when we come back around, that's when we'll do our 2 double crochets and connect it. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 more, because this is the spot between the 2 gaps. And now we're going to go ahead and do our 3 double crochets. That's 1, and that's 2, and 3. All right, so it's pretty much all the same all the way around, except when you come to the end. At this point, we'll do 2 double crochets and connect it, whereas here it was our first, and we just did 2 double crochets behind it. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to finish the project. I'm not going to show you any more rows. I think that's enough. And when we get to the end, I'll decide whether or not I want to go ahead and put some type of a pretty edging on it. Okay, it's looking good. Okay, so I finished the granny square, and it ended up being 30 inches by 30 inches. And came out pretty good, I think. I'm going to put the border on next and show you how to do that. I did have some yarn left over. This is how much yarn I had left over. It may go around another time, but I did stop at 30 inches. And instead of using this for the border, I have a shade of turquoise that I may use. I haven't decided yet, but I'll get back to that. And I have a real pretty border to put on this. Okay, we're getting ready to do the border here, and I've decided to use white. There's going to be 2 rounds around the blanket, and I'm either going to do the first round in white and then the second round in a contrasting color, or I may do both rounds in white. But I've started with making a slip knot, and as I said, this is the center of the blanket, the corners over here, and put your crochet hook through, put the slip knot on your crochet hook, and just kind of bring it through right there. And then we're going to do a chain 1. I'm not giving you a wide view because my kitchen table's a mess. Okay, and here we go. Do a chain 1. All right, now we are going to do single crochet around this whole blanket. So we're going to go into the top of the next one, and my tail from previous is kind of in the way, but you go into this next stitch right here, pick up your yarn, go through, go back through, pick up your yarn, and go through 2, and there's your single crochet. All right, now let me go through the next one where you can see it better. All right, for a sturdier blanket, you want to go through both loops. Some people go through one loop that are crocheters, but that really kind of loosens it up, and that might be good with a thicker yarn and different projects. But to make this sturdier, I'm going through both loops, picking up the yarn over again, and go through 2 loops. Now here's the next one. It's real easy. You see each stitch that we've done on the blanket? Here's the next one. Go under the 2 loops, pick up the yarn, come back through, pick up the yarn, go through 2. We're going to do it again. Now we're not going to go under here in the hole, but in this time we're doing the same thing that we've done before. We're going to go through 2. Sometimes you got to use the point of your hook to get in there. And then come back and yarn over and go through 2. All right, do it again, yarn over, go through 2. Now when you get to the corner, you'll need to do 3 of these in the one space. Do 3 single crochets in one space when you get to the corner. Otherwise your corner will curve, or curl rather. So make sure that you do 3 crochets when you get to the corner, and I'll stop it now. When I get to the corner, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, carry on. All right, we've gotten to the corner. Now in the corner, I'm going to go ahead and go into the space rather than trying to go into each individual one here and do 3 single crochets in one little stitch, because that's going to really stretch it out. So I'm going to do, here we are at the corner, and I'm going to go into the space, grab the yarn, and go through 2. Go back into the corner, grab the yarn, and go through 2. Back into the corner, pick up the yarn, bring it through, and go through 2. All right, and so now the next stitch here, I'm going to just go under here, under that stitch, grab the yarn, pull it back through, go through 2, and continue on in this manner. Can't talk this morning. All right, so there you have the corner, and you see how that's going to keep it. Otherwise, if you only did one here, your corner would end up curving. So this keeps it nice and flat. And you can, if you like, you see how this is turning out with a white contrast. If you want to continue another round of just doing single crochets, you can. You can even do 3 rounds. So you can have a border of just single crochet going around. That'll give it just a nice flat border going around the whole blanket. Now what I'm going to do on the second round, there is going to be a different pattern as we go around. But I just wanted to suggest to you that if you want to just continue doing single crochets around a second time, a third time, maybe even a fourth time, you can do that as well. All right, carry on. All right, so we've come all the way around with our border. We're going to close this up. You can change colors at this point, or you can continue around again and do another round of single crochet if you want this little border, this part of the border, to be thick. And if not, I'm going to show you the next round. I'm going to finish this off. I'm almost out of my white yarn, and I think I have just enough. I do have another small ball left to go around again, or you can do another contrasting color. So right now I'm going to finish off this round by connecting it to my last stitch with a slip stitch. Just go into that first stitch that you started, pull up a loop, and continue to go through. I almost did a single crochet. All right, so that's connected. So now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to skip the next stitch, which is that one right there. Okay, let's get in the camera. I'm going to go to this one right here. This will be your next, the one that you're going to skip. And we're going to do a slip stitch in there. So you go under, pull up the yarn, come back through, and come back through. Okay. Now we're going to do a chain 3 again. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip this next stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch in the next one. Pull up the yarn and go through. Okay, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to continue this all the way around, even when you get to the corner. You don't have to do anything special on the corners. And let's do this. We're going to skip that one and go in here. I just want you to see what this is kind of going to look like here. There we go. One more. 1, 2, and 3. And skip, go into the next one and do a slip stitch. Okay, here we have. So this is what the border is going to look like, and that's pretty. I came out, I mean, it's simple, but you can tell how pretty that's going to look when it's finished. All right, carry on, meet you back at the end. Okay, I have finished the edging. Here we go. Nice little edging on the baby blanket, just enough. And as I said before, you can make it thicker if you'd like, or do a contrasting color. All right, so right here, I'm going to connect the last piece together. Alright, here is where we're going to connect it together. Now typically if this wasn't here and we were still continuing on, we would be skipping this stitch and chaining, slip knotting here and chaining 3. Well, the chain 3 starts here, so I'm going to go all the way over to the same space where the chain 3 was to do my slip knot to finish it off. Okay, and then you just pull this out. You'll cut your yarn here and then pull it tight, and we'll weave in the ends. Okay, that's it. Next step is finishing the whole thing by weaving in the ends. And alright, now we're weaving in the ends, and I've just put it through my needle. I think I might have mentioned the crochet hook before, but you take your blunt needle with the wide eye, wide enough for your particular yarn to fit through, and you start where the loose end is, and you just push it through some of the threads like so, and you want to hide it as best as possible, but this is the way to keep it from unraveling, which would be not a very nice thing to happen. And I'm just going back through on the other side. Okay, and you can go, if you feel like that's not secure enough, you can go through another section and then maybe come back. Just make sure you don't go back through the same place you came out at, and you can go through again. Alright, and that should be enough, and then I just cut it off at that point, and you're good to go. And do that with the rest of your loose ends, and your project will be finished. So here is the finished product, which is a pretty little baby blanket with a nice finished edging. Good luck. Enjoy. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.